So in this session we are going to look into OSPF summarization. Okay, first of all, what is a summarization? What does summarization means? As I explained in the earlier session, there is the AGRP summarization. The concept remains the same for OSPF as well. Okay, let me give you an overview of what a summarization is. Let's consider here R1 and R2. There are two routers, and if you look at the loopback interfaces, I might highlight it, it might be better for you to view. One second. Okay, so I think so it might help. So here there are two routers and we are having 4 loopback interfaces. Okay, so this 4 interfaces will be advertised in R1 from R1 to R2, and it will be seen in the routing table of R2 that it has 4 informations: loopback 0, 1, 2 and 3, whatever be the prefixes. In our example, the same prefixes 10.0.0.0/24, 10.0.1.0/24 and 10.0.2.0/24 and 3.0/24. All the 4 information will be available in the routing table of R2. Where it will be available? It will be available in the routing table. Okay, it will be available in the routing table of R2. But if we do summarization, means first, in order to do summarization, we should be aware about subnetting concepts. So it helps you to do summarization. Okay, so I will give the link for subnetting, how to do it, in the description. You can check to that if you need. So all this 4 information of /24 can be subnetted into the value of /22. Okay, so then if I advertise, if they make /22 as summarization, and if I advertise this information to R2, what happens over here is that instead of having this 4 informations in the routing table, it will have a single information of /22, which helps you to shorten the routing table and also helps to avoid routing load or memory usage of routers. Okay, there's one more advantage over here is that if there are in OSPF for summarization is area within the summarization has the same OSPF database. That is, if you're having a 100 routers, if you're having a 10 to 15 routers, let's consider you are having 10 routers within the OSPF area. Within the area 1 you are having 50 routers, or if you're having 10 routers, whatever it be, all the routers will have a same OSPF database. Okay, so we can't able to change in we can say it as we can't able to do any sort of summarization related configuration in within the area, in the routers within the area. It can be done only in ABR and ASBR. Summarization can be done only in ABR and ASBR. Okay, that's the first thing we should have to be aware about that. The next thing, the helpfulness of over here is that whatever be the changes that we are doing in ABR or ASBR, it will reflect within the area. Summarization will do the shortest path first, since it changes its routing table. This information will be removed and a single information will be there, so it changes its routing table or changes the algorithm that using within the area. It will be refreshed, and it's in order to maintain a single database that will be done continuously. Okay, so that's one thing we need to keep in mind. The major advantage over here is that if any one of the loopback interfaces, let's consider this L2 interface is down in its routing table, in the R2 routing table, it will be having a /22. it will be having as /22. So according to this router, within this /22 segment, there is some prefixes that is still reachable. So it will not do again the process. It will not do the shortest path algorithm or OSPF process again to calculate to form a database. To calculate shortest path first and to form a OSPF database, it will not rerun it frequently. Okay. Then when it will run means, if all the informations for /22 gets down, then only the routes will be removed and it will calculate the shortest path in order to form a OSPF database within the same area. Okay, so this is what a summarization is about. To make it simple, what is summarization? We can make this way. Okay, summarization means here it helps you to summarize prefixes from R1 routers to R2 router in this example. You can also say to be as summarizing of prefixes. Summarize the prefixes. We can mention to be as summarize the prefix to the output. So that's what a summarization is about. In terms of OSPF, summarization can be done in either ABR or ASBR. Okay, since we can't able to change the information within the area, since our every routers will have same database within the area, it cannot be summarized. The summarization cannot be enabled within the area. Okay, so this is one of the things that we need to be remember. In terms of ABR, we should be aware about a area. Okay, let's have a better clear view over here now. As I mentioned earlier, summarization for OSPF can only be done either in ABR or ASBR. Let's consider now the R1 router is a ABR router. ABR means it should have at least two areas. Let's consider this to be as a area 0, and this loopback interfaces, all these loopback interfaces over here will belong to the area 1, which means R1 will be the ABR router. Okay, now the summarization can be done in R1. Okay, that's the first thing. If R1 is ABR and we are going to summarize, means we should be aware about the areas within the routers. The reason is we are going to do in terms of ABR. ABR is a mandatory condition for summarization in OSPF. Okay, ABR or ASBR, if you are focusing on ABR, ABR is a mandatory thing. How does a router knows it's ABR or not? It's totally based on the areas. So we should be aware about the area the prefixes are. This prefixes in our example, it belongs to area 1. So we should be aware about which prefixes we are going to summarize and those prefixes belongs to which area. So that's the undermost thing that should be we should be aware about it. So then once we know about it, then we should know about a subnetting. In order to summarize, we should know about a subnetting. Subnetting is a mandatory thing which I have already sent in the EGRP session. So you should be aware about a subnetting. If these two things are there, then you can do summarization. In R1, you just want those two things. Then once you summarize, the information will be forwarded to R2. Okay, so what does R2 do? Instead of having /24 4 routes, it will be given a single route of /22. At the same time, since the summarization is being done in terms of ABR, which belongs to a type 3 LSA, so there will be changes in type 3 LSA. What type of changes will be there? Before summarization, what happens over there is that all this 4 information will have separate entries, will have a different entries in its OSPF database. All the prefixes will have a separate information for database. Now after summarization, it will be summarized and a single entry of /22 will be there for summarization in type 3. Okay, this is for ABR router. Okay, the simplified way is area is needed and a summarized network should be summarized by using subnetting. For ABR, what I'm saying is for ABR, that from the receiving end, the single route will be added, single or couple of routers based on the summarizing what you are doing will be added for type 3 LSA. The multiple routes will be removed. Okay, this is what a ABR is about. Now let's consider for ASBR. Now what we are going to do, instead of having this loopback interfaces in area 1, we are going to redistribute this information. If we redistribute, what happens? If redistribution is happening, it will become a external routes. For external routes, it will be a type 5 LSA. For external routes, it will be a type 5 LSA. So once it becomes ASBR, if type 5 LSA is being generated, it becomes a ASBR router. Once it becomes ASBR router, it can do redistribution process based on type 5 LSA. So type 5 LSA doesn't need any sort of area informations. So it just want to summarize. Only subnetting is being mainly focused on here. Summarize the information, advertise. In R2, what happens over here is that it also creates a single entry. It also summarizes /24 into /22, but the summarization will be done in type 5 LSA instead of type 3 LSA. So that's the major difference over here. I hope you get this point what I'm saying. This is what the major difference about type 3 and type 5 summarization. Type 3 summarization mainly focused on ABRs, that is area border routers, while the type 5 LSA is focused on the redistributed or external routes. These are all the informations that which needed for summarization. While in case of ABR, area and networks subnetting is being done, while in case of ASBR, networks subnetting network prefixes is made enough. So this information will be advertised. In the receiving end, it will be the shortest path algorithm or database will be refreshed according to how summarization we do. So this is what a summarization is about. This is just an introduction, and in the next session we will be focusing on how to configure type 3 and type 5 summarization of OSPF. That's it about OSPF summarization. If you have any queries or questions or doubts regarding this, just give a comment. Thanks for watching.